Hello students, welcome to Gyandu 2.0 English, a program by Department of College Education. I am Dr. Manju Sharma from GD Government Girls College for Women, Alwar. The topic of video is Literary Devices in On His Blindness, a poem by John Milton. On His Blindness is a poem in which Milton reflects on his faith as he is becoming blind. The poem uses various literary devices to express his fear, frustration, and undiminished faith in God's justice. Literary devices are techniques that writers use to create a special effects in their writing to convey meaning or idea, or to help reader understand their writings on a deeper level. Milton makes use of several literary devices in the poem. These include assonance, consonance, alliteration, metaphor, illusion, personification, enjambment, Caesura, rhetoric question, and structure. Assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, such as the sound of E and O. Sound O is repeated in got, not. Clear? And in other line, sound O is repeated in post, over, and ocean. And sound E in replies over, ocean, rest. Right? So this is the example of assonance. Assonance is used in the poem to create music and to create internal rhyme. Consonance. Consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sound of N and T. N sound is repeated in kingly, thousands, bidding. T sound is repeated in that, talent, to, and it may be in the middle or in the end of the word. Alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of the word in the same line. Difference between alliteration and consonant. Clear? Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sound in the beginning, while in consonance it may be in the middle and in the end of the word. N sound. N sound is repeated in not, need, right? And W sound, world and wide. W sound is repeated in world and wide. Alliteration attracts the attention of the readers, and its primary purpose to emphasize an idea. To emphasize an idea in the line or idea of the entire poem. Here the world, right? Dark world, the idea of darkness is emphasized in the line. Illusion. Illusion is a belief and indirect reference of a person, place, thing or idea of historical, cultural, political or literary significance. The poet alludes to the parable of talents in the third line, such as, and that one talent which is death to hide, right? So through this reference or through this parable of talents, the poet compares God to the Lord. Speaker, the poet compares speaker to the third servant who has buried the money under the ground, and the poetic talent is compared to the money which is buried under the ground and which cannot be used to make profit. Clear? Enjambment. Enjambment is defined as a thought in the verse that does not come to an end at line break. Rather, it rolls over to the next line. Look at the example of enjambment. I fondly ask, but patience to prevent. Right? Idea is not completed at the line break, so line is enjambed. Clear? An idea moves to the next line. Patience to prevent that murmur. Idea is completed in next line. Soon replies God does not need. Again, idea is not completed at line break. Rather, it rolls over to the next line. God does not need either man's work or his own gift. Idea is completed in next line. Who best? Line is engine and thought is thought rolls over to the next line. Who best bear his mild yoke? They serve him best. So idea is completed in next line. Therefore, we can say enjambment is the continuation of sentence from one line to another without terminal punctuation. Clear? So, enjambment is a continuation of sentence from one line to another without punctuation. Look at the example. I fondly ask, but patience to prevent. Idea, right? Patience to prevent that murmur. Here, here is a continuation of sentence, right? Here is a continuation of sentence from one line to another without punctuation. Enjambment allow a poem to carry an idea naturally beyond the restriction of single line. So idea is carried beyond the restriction of single line. So idea is carried from one line to another. It also allows the poet to create strong rhythm. A poet can also use enjambment to express a complicated concept or idea in multiple lines, right? Enjambment is used to express a complicated concept in multiple lines. Look at the example. I fondly ask, but patience to prevent that murmur. Soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gift. Who best bear his mild yoke? They serve him best, right? So idea of God's rule over man is expressed in multiple lines. Clear? Enjambment introduces a sense of natural motion to the poem, right? So it allows a natural motion as the poem moves. Caesura. Caesura are seen when the poet insert a pause, either through punctuation or meter in the middle of line, right? So caesura is a pause. This pause is in the middle of the line and this is punctuated. It can fall at the beginning, the true middle, or near the end of the poem. For example, I fondly ask, right? So this is in the middle of line and this is punctuated, right? And this is in the middle of the poem. Clear? And second example is kingly. Again, there is a pause and this pause is punctuated and this is near the end of the poem. Caesura can be used to provide a place to take a breath between phrases. So the purpose of this pause is to provide a place to take a breath, clear, between phrases. And it keeps a feeling of natural flow and is soothing to read, right? So this pause keeps a feeling of natural flow, clear, and it is soothing to read. Poet uses caesura to show a depth of emotion. I fondly ask, right? When a speaker wonders if God needs a work from a man who is denied light. So it shows the emotion of fear and frustration. And it focuses on a particular word or phrase, right? Caesura focus on a particular word or phrase. Is kingly. The focus is on his estate is kingly, he is king, and his estate is kingly. Thousands Thousand servants or thousand angels are moving over land and ocean to carry out his order. Clear? So focus is on king. God is like king. Metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech in which a comparison is made between objects that are different. Example of metaphor in the poem. That one talent which is dead to hide knows with me is useless. The whole biblical parable about hiding the talent and not turning the master's currency into profit is used as an extended metaphor. Extended metaphor is a version of metaphor that creates meaning beyond the literal meaning of the words. Clear? So in the parable, right? Parable is used here, and God, parable is used, right? Parable used as a metaphor. God is compared to the Lord. Clear? While the speaker is compared to the third servant who has buried the money, and poetic talent is compared to money which is buried under the earth, which cannot be used to make profit. Clear? Metaphor in the first half of line 11 compares God's rule over man to wooden yoke, right? God's rule over man is compared to wooden yoke that guides farm animal. Other example of metaphor in the poem is thousands bidding, right? Thousands of angels, thousands servants who are moving to carry out his order. They are the metaphor for Christian soldiers, merchant, politicians, clergy, teachers, doctors, etc. Clear? Line 11 to 14 form an extended metaphor comparing service to God with the service to most powerful king in the world. Clear? So these are the example of metaphor. Personification. Personification is when inanimate object, animal or idea is given human characteristics. Clear? The poet has personified patience in line 8 of the poem, such as I fondly ask, but patience to prevent. Patience is personified as an advisor. Clear? So when he questioned God, so patience steps in and correct the foolishness of the speaker who questioned, right? Who questioned God. Clear? He replies, God does not need either man's work or his own gift. Clear? Who bear? Who best where is mild you serve him best. And God is like a king, and his state is kingly. Thousands moving, right? Thousands are moving over land and ocean to carry out his order. They also serve who only stand and wait. Clear? So this is the personification of virtue. Pun. Pun is a literary device that is also known as a play on words. Puns involve words with similar or identical sounds but with different meaning. They have the different meaning. Clear? The writer has used this device in the opening line of the poem. When I consider how my light is spent, right? So light, it is used as a eyesight or vision, and second meaning of the light is life before getting blind. And the word wait is a pun. It means wait in the sense that speaker will wait till the end of his life to meet his ultimate fate. And also in the sense that person waits on a more powerful person simply by standing until he is needed, right? So these are the two meanings of wait. Rhetoric question. In poetry and literature, a rhetoric question is a question that is not looking for an answer. Rather, it is being asked to make a point, right? So the purpose of rhetoric question is to make a point. A speaker is about to ask a rhetoric question to put emphasis on his point. His point is God's justice, right? So he asks, doth God exact deliver light denies? He wonders if God desire a work from a man who cannot perform, right? So he is asking, he is questioning God's justice. Sonnet. Sonnet is a 14 lines poem. This is a Petrarchan sonnet, follows the ABBA, CDE rhyme scheme. It is divided into octave and sestet. Octave reveals the poet's fear, frustration, and complaints. Sestet teaches total submission to God. These these are the literary devices used in the poem. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe it, like and share it.